lights throughout the month of July, kind of highlighting how we keep the animals cool. And we're also going to do a little bit of that today since it's a nice hot August day. We are going to start by throwing some enrichment in the water. Yes, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, I didn't know lions could swim, but they can in fact swim, and our lion pride actually does enjoy swimming from time to time. They will get in the water when we do different types of enrichment in the water. So the first thing you're going to see is some plastic enrichment toys thrown into the water. They are specially designed for large carnivores. They're not the typical toys that you can buy for your pets at home. They're designed for those nice big carnivore mouths. They're really tough plastic. So Isaac's going to have a variety of shapes and sizes that he's going to throw into the water. We're going to see him check that about halfway into the moat, and we're going to see kind of what the lines are going to do. So Isaac, why don't you go ahead and give those toys a nice check, and let's see kind of who kind of takes the first dive into the water. Now, our lions do have a wide variety of personalities. Hasani does enjoy the moat the most. He is quite playful. And you may see those girls kind of be like, well, no, wait a second, I wanted that one. But little did they know that there are a couple more things that are going to be thrown in. They're a little bit more hesitant to get in the water. Oh, the big guy might try to take everything this morning. So they're going to be a little bit more hesitant. That is just their natural personalities. We do have Uzima going in for that enrichment item. And you can see Hasani is going to hold his nice and tight, but you can see the way that our moat is designed, you can see a bank for her to swim on, and then at that bank will end, and then it drops down up to about 17 feet in depth. So she does know where that bank ends, and then she knows she's going to have to do some swimming. Now Maddie is going to try to encourage her to go out there. She's like, hey, you go get that toy, and I'm going to try to get it from you. Oh, but the big guy might end up with everything today. The reason why we do this, like I mentioned before, it does encourage them to stay a little bit cool, but also it is a natural behavior for these guys. Like I said, lions can swim. You will see this all the time over in Africa, where if they need to move areas within their habitat, they will get into the water and swim around. All cat species can swim, but like you guys know, if anybody has tried to wash their cat at home, there are some cats that really do enjoy swimming, but there are a lot of cats that, like my cat personally at home, hates bath time, so they do not enjoy getting into the water. The second thing, once we let them have a little bit of time with their toys, Maddie's going to kind of see, well, what else do these keepers have for us to throw, as we are going to be throwing some ice treats here in a little bit. That is another thing that we do to help keep these guys cool in the summertime. Now, these are not your typical ice treats or your popsicles that you would give your kids at home. There's no cherry, there's no strawberry or grape. These ice treats have a lot of things that our cats enjoy. They have meat mixed into them, they have diluted goat's milk, and for all of you guys that happened to catch that Tiger Facebook Live a couple weeks ago, you know that we do give diluted goat's milk to our carnivores because that cats cannot digest cow's milk. So that iconic photo of a cat getting cow's milk, that is something we don't do, so we do give diluted goat's milk. But also, we got something that's a little unique that we are all going to throw in first while those ice treats kind of melt a little bit, and that's melons. Our carnivores get produce once a month as enrichment, and melons replicates something what we like to say a lot like flesh a little bit. They are hard on the outside, but nice and soft on the inside. They are also a little bit harder to get out of the water. So as you can see, it takes a little bit more work for Hasani to get. And this is just replicating natural behavior. You can see that he has to bite into it, open it up, and it's kind of like what would happen as lions naturally work as a team during a hunt or a kill. And it's going to be something that we can do here at the Houston Zoo to replicate that. Another thing is Hasani actually loves melons. He really enjoys the taste that is really unique to just him. That is just something that we found about him once he came here to the Houston Zoo from the Oregon Zoo. He is not the only carnivore in the department that loves melons. Harani, our tiger right across the way, he also loves melons, so that's a really fun thing that we found about those two boy cats, is that they actually really enjoy the taste of melon and they will eat it. So that's kind of a fun, unique thing that we're able to offer them. So as you can see right here, Uzima's sitting in the water. She is going to analyze that a little bit and continue to try to go for that melon. She really wants it. She would never want Hasani to have anything over what she has, you know, a little bit of some competition there. And she wants her own melon because he has his own as well. but it looks like she might have come up short. You know, that's great for us. Failure is very much an option. Lions in the wild with hunting are only successful 30% of the time. Those are not great odds. So when they do things like this and we make that enrichment incredibly difficult, we do know that it really helps them really replicate that natural behavior such as failure, because that is something that we do experience in the wild. And you may be thinking to yourself, Alicia, I know tons of things about lions. They're my absolute favorite animal, that king of the jungle. What can you tell us about lions? Well, there's a ton of really awesome things that are so unique about lions. First and foremost, they're the only true social cat. They actually really love spending time together. They're found in those prides, and prides usually actually have 2 to 3 related males. So if any of us, I'm gonna age myself a little bit, saw the original Lion King, or maybe some of you guys that saw the remake, Scar would have actually been part of the pride. These guys have 2 to 3 related males, a lot of time brothers that got kicked out from their family pride and then went over and took over a new pride. Female lions, they do stay in their family pride their whole life, so they kind of come up with moms and sisters, and they will stay in that pride. Also, what's the next most iconic thing we know about lions? That big beautiful mane that Hasani is showing off right here. Lion manes can cover up to 2/3 of their body, and they are going to cover some really vulnerable places, right? That neck, that chest, they're going to go down their belly, and they can even go down into their man area, and that's for protection during fighting. Lions have a super warrior lifestyle. There are always going to be younger, newer lions trying to take over that pride, so they have that nice big mane to help protect them. So some really fun research has been done about lion manes, and that has a lot to do with size, coloring, shape, and things like that. First is, the bigger and darker the mane, the more attractive the male is. They have found that the darker the mane and the bigger the mane, the more testosterone that male lion has, which means that the genetics that those females are going to breed into is actually going to be better. So they have found that females are actually attracted to males with larger and darker manes. So we just got a question is, do the lionesses get along with Hasani? The answer is yes, they do. For everybody who was part of the process when we first got Hasani in 2017, you know that we started introing him and it was a really slow process. We went on the Lions timeline. We didn't want to rush that process, kind of like we all get a new roommate in. You got to figure each other out. Sleeping styles, playing styles, eating styles, you got to learn each other's habits. So we went really nice and slow, and we took it on their timeline and kind of read their behaviors. But now everybody gets along awesome. Uzima right here, front and center, is his favorite. Yes, he does have a favorite. She is the most confident one out of the 2 lionesses, and is the one he actually does like spending the most time with. She's also the most affectionate with Hasani, and he does enjoy that. It looks like up here, Isaac is kind of getting ready with our ice treats. You guys can kind of see, like I mentioned before, those ice treats, they are not like those ice treats at home. Those are nice and they got meat in there. Looks like a little bit of diluted goat's milk. So you can kind of see that is a multi-step process. That took keepers a couple days to make those, get those nice and big. They're also lion size. They're not too small. We want to make sure that they have a nice, impressively large ice treat, something worthwhile, something they're going to want to get into the water for. So that is something that those keepers have spent a couple days making and getting them nice and frozen. As you can see, Uzima has not given up. She still really does want that ice treat, but we're gonna see if we can get maybe a little bit more swimming. We can get Hasani back in the water for you guys. Oh, he may give up his toy for this. As you can see, we're gonna see a lot of batting and pawing, and the ice treats do go under the water. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want them to do. It makes her work a little bit farther and swim. This is also great physical activity. One of the things that we think about, and I know through several Facebook Lives, we've talked a lot about training and choice and mental stimulation. But one of the things we also talk about here in the carnivore department is physical activity and physical health. We want to make sure our animals are getting really awesome cardiovascular health. We want to make sure they're getting exercise, and that is something that we work really hard for, and everything like that. So we do spend time trying to focus on how can we make sure they work their muscles, work different parts of their muscles. How can we get them in and get kind of those get them nice and tired, almost kind of like those kids at home. You want to make sure that they're nice and tired. So we actually work pretty hard on that here at the carnivore department, and we get really creative with that. So that is something that we do work on. As you can see, they're pretty interested in the food. That usually is kind of our first priority of things that they really enjoy a lot of times, but sometimes just like everybody at home, each lion has their own unique thing that they like. Just like each of us are individuals, the lions are individuals as well. Some may be more food motivated and less food motivated. As you can see, they may prefer a toy or an ice treat or a melon, but that's okay. Again, choice is super important. We let them like different things. We let them choose what they like. We threw a wide variety of things out there today, so they got to try different things. They got to pick what it is that they wanted, and everything like that. For all of you guys watching, you may ask yourself, well, how are you guys helping save lions in the wild? There are a few things. The first thing is we are helping support what's called the Nyasa Lion Project and the Owasso Lion Project. These are two things. First, you can check out our website. There's a ton of information on them. You can actually click on the links straight to both of those conservation projects right on our website. But those two things are actually not only helping protect lions, they're actually helping protect multiple animals in the area. Let's start with the Nyasa Lion Project, right? That's a mouthful of words. One of the things that they're focusing on is sustainability within that conservation project. And what's one thing we really work on here at the Houston Zoo? Sustainability. We just got through Plastic Free July, and so that is one of the things we are trying to work with different conservation projects. And that's one of the things we are working with them to do in that area to help save lions. The Owasso Lion Project, they're working on the human carnivore conflict. You have to think about they could view lions as an animal that could potentially eat their livestock or take over their area. So we work really close with those native people to talk about, hey, lions really don't want to hunt livestock, that we can work and live really nicely beside these really large carnivores, that they don't really see maybe a goat or a sheep as a prey species, that this is not natural for them. And we work really closely with those individuals to do that. So feel free, check out our website. There are links for those conservation projects right there on our website if you want more information. All right, we just got a question in, is Hasani's mane fully grown? Yes, it is. Lion manes are fully grown at about 5 years old. They start growing at about 1. So if for all of you guys listening that maybe came out to the Houston Zoo when we first got him, you kind of saw him go through some of those awkward mane teenage years as his grown kind of came in and started growing in different lengths and different areas. For a little while, the hair on the very top of his head stuck straight up, kind of a little bit like Alfalfa from the Little Rascals, but his mane has grown in and is full length at this time. The next question is, how often do you do moat enrichment tosses? We're going to do them more often in the summertime. Obviously, due to the heat, we're going to try to get the animals into the water and cooled off more often. We do much less in the winter. We don't want to get them in that cold water and get anybody too cold. But we don't have a planned schedule. We kind of go off the lines themselves. We do enrichment every single day, and we do what's called behavior-based enrichment. So like today, the goal behavior was swimming and licking and playing. But maybe tomorrow, the goal behavior could be sleeping or scent rolling or climbing. So we may do different things to achieve those goals. The next question is what were those lion names again? What were those things? And maybe you didn't catch the beginning of those Facebook Live. Right up here front and center, that is Hasani. And something special is happening in the beginning of September. He's actually celebrating his golden birthday. On September the 8th, he is turning 8 years old. So that is a fun thing that we here in the carnivore department, it's kind of like your kids turning their birthday or having their birthday coming along. We are very excited for him to be turning 8. Now over here on our right, we have Maddie and Uzima. They are from the same litter, and they just celebrated their birthday at the end of July, and they are 14 years old. So they are a little bit older than Hasani. Now today, in case you guys missed it, we are celebrating World Lion Day, but we are going to be selling with a big celebration on Saturday. We are going to be doing a lot of activities just like you saw today with multiple keeper chats. So if you want to come out, I'm going to give you the times. They are going to be at 9:30, 11:30, and 1:30, and you are going to see fun enrichment activities. You can also come out and meet our silly carnivore staff as we go around and just show different behaviors that our lions do naturally here at the Houston Zoo that replicate what lions in the wild do. So I'm going to repeat those times again in case you didn't hear me. We are going to be doing those chats at 9:30, 11:30, and 1:30, and you're going to get to meet our pride, meet the staff, and kind of see what lions naturally do in the wild. As you can see, those ladies, a little bit smarter than Hasani, they moved off into the shade. One of them's eating an ice treat and the other one's definitely staring at the one eating the ice treat. It's a little bit jealous. She's not going to share though, I wouldn't either. And Hasani is going to stand here and kind of stare at some of the stuff in the moat and kind of debate whether he wants to get in. He may swim again. Like I mentioned, melons are his favorite. I have a feeling he is probably staring at the melon that's over here in the corner, thinking about getting back in the water so he can have 2 melons, because he's not going to share either. He definitely wants another melon. So the question just came in from Robin. How much time do they spend active during the day versus sleeping? So what's the one thing we all see the lions do when we come to the Houston Zoo? Sleep, right? Well, lions sleep 20 hours a day in the wild and here at the Houston Zoo. So we do see them be active. They are most active in the morning when they first come out on their habitat. And then they kind of will get up periodically throughout the day. Now here in the summer, of course, once it gets hot, they're just going to be doing a lot of sleeping and resting, just like, you know, the rest of us. When it gets really hot, we don't want to move around too much. And then in the evening time, as the zoo starts to close, they're going to get a little bit more active again. The best time to see the lions is when it's a little bit cooler. They do enjoy the cooler months a little bit more than the warmer months, or early in the morning and late in the afternoon. They do sleep periodically. They do sleep in the evening time. They're going to sleep at probably a little bit more middle of the night versus at dawn and dusk. But that it kind of just varies on the lion and the activities and the enrichment we give them. But again, lions sleep 20 hours a day in the wild and here at the Houston Zoo. But we do try to get them up and active and do enrichment like this with them and get that physical activity going. So as you guys can see, Hasani does not give up very easily, just like a lion in the wild. They're going to keep with that kill. They're going to focus in on that. And I said that he really enjoys melons. That's really awesome for us. That is something that he really enjoys. The girls not so much, and I said each of the individuals have favorites. That's totally great for us. He's going to probably get in the water here in a little bit. He may float, see if it floats a little bit closer to the shore, and that's totally great for him. That takes some strategy, some mental processing. Again, some other fun facts about lions, and one of my most unique facts about lions that I think is really interesting, as you guys probably are like, oh my God, I love lions, they're my absolute favorite cat, is that at the end of their tail, they actually are the only cat with a tail tuft. And there's a little bit of research done in on this, but inside of that tail tuft, they have what's called a really small spur. It's actually almost like a little tiny claw. Not a lot of people know about it. It's about 2 millimeters in length. It's very, very small. They don't know the purpose of it, but they actually do have that. If you actually took their little tail fluff and opened it up, they would know that they actually have a little spur inside of that tuft. Another thing that we actually have in our moat, if you guys saw that, maybe what just happened there, is we actually have fish in our moat. We have little tiny fishes that swim around. Hasani doesn't really like it when the fish touches little toes, so he may have just had a fish swim by him. That was enough. He doesn't want the fish to touch him, so he may have just accidentally had a fish touch him, and he may be like, nope, that's enough for me. The fish touched me. But we do have tiny fishes that swim in our moat and like to eat all of the natural food that's found in our moat. We have another question from Shanae. They said, do they like to swim? As you can see, they will for really awesome enrichment. They won't just swim just because, unlike tigers who just really enjoy swimming and that's what they're known for as a cat species. Tigers are going to swim if it's worth it. They're going to go out there if we have nice enrichment out there, if there's ice treats, if there's toys, but they're not going to just swim around just for leisure. or just to be cool. That isn't something that they really enjoy doing. But as you saw, it took Hasani no time at all just to jump right in the water. So to a degree, yes, but not like a tiger species. So they're not going to do that. Some other really fun facts that are unique about our guys is we can talk a little bit about their personalities. Hasani, he really enjoys enrichment. He really likes playing with toys. He really likes throwing them around. We did find that the really big enrichment items that we have here at the zoo, he gets a little nervous of. He doesn't realize that he's over 500 pounds. So when he does get the really large enrichment, if it does accidentally move too much, he will kind of startle back from it. So he isn't necessarily as brave as he looks. But he really does like playing. I think that's a little bit the age too, as he is only going to be turning 8 in comparison to the girls. Maddie, she is our tom girl. She is rough and tumble. She's the girl that's going to come in covered in dirt. She's just going to be like all about food. She's me in a cat body, so that's Maddie. And then we have Azima. She's very sassy and prissy. She's going to come in if she feels like it. It's her way or the highway. She's very much that iconic cat you think of when you think about owning cats as a pet at home. Again, you guys, I want to thank you guys for tuning in today's Facebook Live. I want to remind you guys to come out on Saturdays for those keeper chats. Again, they are at 9:30, 11:30, and 1:30. We are going to be giving chats. We're going to be giving tons of enrichment. Come out, see the king of the jungle. Come out, meet these iconic cats, the only true social cat, everybody's favorite. So come out to the Houston Zoo, hang out with us, Hasani, Maddie, and Uzima, and thank you guys for tuning in today for our Facebook Live.